Our story begins with the first king of Oria leading an attack on a dragon residing in his realm. All the king's men are killed, leaving the king at the dragon's mercy. Centuries later, Elodie, the adolescent daughter of Lord Bayford, receives a proposal from Queen Isabel of Oria to marry her son, Prince Henry. On her father's urging, Elodie agrees to the marriage to help their impoverished people. Elodie travels to the king's castle with Lord and Lady Bayford and her younger sister Floria. Upon arriving in Oria, the Bayfords are impressed with the wealth and opulence of the kingdom. But during the night from her chambers, Elodie notices a fire burning at the top of a nearby mountain. The next morning Elodie meets Prince Henry, and they initially both seem uninterested in each other but begin to bond as they share a desire to travel. Lord Bayford confers with the Queen in private and is offered more gold than he could ever imagine. Yet Lady Bayford can see that something clearly bothers him when he comes out of the meeting. Lady Bayford questions Queen Isabel about what happened and demands answers, but Isabel insults Lady Bayford by saying that she is the daughter of a rope maker and not of royal blood. After the wedding the next day, Elodie and Prince Henry take part in an ancient ritual in the mountains, supposedly to celebrate their union. Isabel says that when their ancestors first settled on this land, they found the dragon who ravaged their villages. Isabel describes the pact between the first king and the dragon, where he had to sacrifice his 3 daughters for peace. This sacrifice is commemorated every generation. Following a ceremony where their hands are cut and held together, Henry carries Elodie across the narrow path over the dragon's lair, then throws her into the chasm. Recovering from the fall, Elodie realizes that she is the sacrifice. Elodie finds many other pieces of jewelry at the bottom of the chasm, indicating that she is certainly not the first one there. Unable to find a way out, Elodie begins crying, which wakes a creature nearby. As the dragon approaches Elodie, she is surprised that it can talk to her. And she realizes that the dragon believes she is from the royal Orion family, as her blood scent has been masked by Henry's blood in the ceremony. Elodie escapes the dragon after it burns her leg and discovers an illuminated cave filled with glowing slugs, which she collects as a light source. Elodie reaches a chamber with the names of past victims of the royal family, as well as a map carved into the wall. While Elodie is asleep, we are shown that the slugs heal the burn on her leg. The next morning, Elodie follows the map, but it leads to a dead end on the mountainside. Elodie is distraught that there is no escape from the dragon's lair, but sees a group of knights patrolling the land below. She desperately calls for help but is suddenly attacked by the dragon, who attempts to grab her. Elodie returns back to the cave where she discovers the remains of dead dragon hatchlings, providing the reason for the royal sacrifices. Elodie summarizes that 3 dragon hatchlings were killed by the first king, and hence the dragon was provoked into attacking them. The first king begged for mercy and promised to pay any price. The dragon demanded a royal sacrifice of 3 daughters from their bloodline in each generation to maintain the peace. Suddenly a rescue party led by Lord Bayford arrives, but the dragon manages to disarm most of the soldiers. Lord Bayford attacks the dragon, but is instantly knocked back. The dragon confronts Lord Bayford, but he confesses that he's here to rescue his daughter. He explains that he traded her life for gold and the prosperity of his people but could not live with the guilt. Elodie appears before her father, who is shocked to find her still alive and apologizes for selling her to the royal family. One of the soldiers distracts the dragon, allowing Elodie to escape the mountain. She takes one of the rescue party's horses and hides under a rock as the dragon burns the surrounding area in an unsuccessful pursuit. The conflagration alerts Isabel that Elodie's sacrifice has failed, forcing her to kidnap Elodie's younger sister Floria as a replacement. After Lady Bayford rides out and informs her, Elodie returns to the mountain to rescue Floria, who is left alive as bait. Elodie creates a diversion for the dragon, telling her sister to hide. She confronts the dragon and tries to convince her that they were deceived by the Orions. Elodie says that by joining their cut hands at the wedding, the blood of the brides and the Orion royals mingled, making the dragon think of the princesses as Orion royalty. The dragon refuses to believe Elodie, and then attacks her, but Elodie tricks her into burning herself by spewing fire in front of a rock that deflects the fire back onto the dragon. With the dragon at her mercy, Elodie tells her that she has been killing innocent daughters for centuries, just like the first king did. However, instead of slaying the dragon, Elodie heals her with the glowing slugs, thus gaining the dragon's trust and loyalty. Back in King's Castle, Elodie interrupts another wedding at the palace, exposing the Orion's treachery. Elodie advises the new bride and her family to flee, and Queen Isabel is shocked that she is still alive and calls for the guards to capture her. However, the dragon appears and burns the palace with all the Orion royals and nobles inside. Days later, Elodie reunites with Floria and Lady Bayford, and decide to sail home, loaded with food and supplies and accompanied by the dragon.